Hello, YouTubers. This is another session where we get to chat with some pioneers in the tech industry, people that influence, and help millions of engineers around the world, sometimes by creating new technology, creating amazing content, reaching out to thousands and thousands of engineers on daily basis to simplify software engineering, simplify the process, and make learning, and entering the tech industry so much simpler and easier. And in this session, I'm joined here by my dear brother, Nick Chapsis. How are you doing, brother?
Nailed the name. I'm
Did I
good.
get
How are
did I
you?
get the last name right?
Nailed it.
How's your
Uh,
day going, brother?
yeah, it's going great. Thanks for having me. I've actually been watching tons of these with other people like Mads and David Fowler,
Yeah,
and I like like you focus on the person, not so much on the tech, and that's what always like intrigued me. How did this person end up there?
yeah.
So yeah, it's very exciting to be here.
I was very surprised. A lot of people reached out to me, they were very surprised about, the history behind the person that brings the technology to the scene. There's always this amazing, background. They started somewhere. Maybe they were in a completely different realm, and things have changed a little bit. There's always a surprise element there. I was talking to Tim Corey, this Friday, and I didn't know, like, he was telling me I didn't have much to do, so I was reading just books. Let me fix the camera here real quick while we're talking. Yeah, there it is. So he said I just had books. That's all I had. And I started reading a lot of books. One of the things that I really appreciate about Tim is that he was like, I don't want anyone to think I was born knowing C sharp. I had to learn really hard, and I thought maybe I can simplify things for other people, and that's basically how this whole thing started. What about you? What is your story? How did you start with this whole, tell us where you're from, what's your beginning? Tell me.
I I know how this will go. You're just gonna whip out the map the moment I say where I'm
Yep,
from.
gotta
But
do it. That's part. I didn't pull the map for people from the U.S. and then Eagle Hansen for from the Blazer test driving unit test. He said to me, "How come you don't show us maps for people from America? That's not fair. We also want to know what is this Minnesota thing."
yeah. Isn't the
So
US just one big thing and that's it?
it's just one country, right? It's just from there. Let me show you something funny. This will make you funny. Speaking of maps, this is for you. So check this out. If you type in Google, let me show you. World map according to Americans.
Oh
You're gonna
no.
you're gonna laugh so hard at this one. Check this out. America here, we're number one. Cold, uninhabited, Santa.
I'm just looking for the UK and I saw what it says there and it's like
I
I
know.
I I I thought the only thing that it would be accurate on the like eastern side of things would be Paris because apparently that's the only thing everyone nails.
Uh-huh, uh-huh. Yeah, it's hilarious. It's one of these funny things that, you look at and so England, are you from England? Is that where this from? Hmm.
It is my accent so British that you missed. No, I'm joking. I'm from Greece originally.
Oh, Greece.
Yeah,
Greece.
I'm from
Okay.
Greece, like Christos. Uh,
Why did I think for a second that you are from Latin America? Why did I
l-
think that?
Many people think that, or
Why?
Spain. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe the accent. So I am from a small town in Greece, like right like 30 minutes outside of Athens, called Megara. It's west
Okay.
of Athens. So if you zoom
Okay.
above that small island, you see, yeah, Megara. It's near Peramos on the left. Yeah,
This guy
that's
right.
exactly where I'm from.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow. This is crazy. This is amazing, and you've grown up here, you've lived most of your life in here. Did you have to move around a little bit?
I
Tell us
stayed
a
there
little.
until I was 18,
Uh-huh.
and then
Uh-huh.
I'm like, well, Greece back in 2010,
Uh-huh.
2011 wasn't really in the pinnacle of like economy.
Yep, there
So
was a lot
my,
of angry people and the economy was, yeah,
yeah. So
yeah.
my mom's like, well, you could go if you want. You did terrible at school anyway, so we can pay a university in England and you can go there.
Nice. So
So
you just took it.
ultimately, that's
Uh,
what happened. Yeah, because the original plan was I want to be a cook, like I want to be a chef and have my own
yeah,
restaurant.
yeah, yeah.
And technology happened, like, and you asked like how I started. The truth is, I started with gaming.
Nice,
I
nice.
was I was 14, 15,
Mhm.
and like internet cafes. I don't know if this was ever like a big thing in the US, but like I know
Uh-huh.
it's huge in Korea. But in Greece, you couldn't really afford a good PC and a good connection. Like I still remember the beep 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 to log in the
Mhm.
internet, and
Mhm.
I used to like scratch cards, put a number in to go on the internet with a PSTN connection.
And
I
you run out
remember
of
that. And you're out of time. It's like your mom would pick up the phone, and I'm like, Mom, I
And
was
you kept
downloading
sending.
with 1 kilobyte. I was like at the pinnacle of internet connection.
Do you remember Internet Download Manager, the app that helps you continue the download because the interruption of the internet? Oh my God.
Yeah,
Kaza and the peer-to-peer, what was that thing called?
it was
LimeWire.
LimeWire and
LimeWire. LimeWire.
Napster,
Yeah,
and
yep.
you download something, and it's like Bill
Winamp.
Clinton saying the I did not have no, I can't remember the quote, but it was the wild, wild west. Uh, but yeah, for me, like the inciting incident was I was always playing like games like Warcraft 3, like RTS games, like Age of Empires,
Mhm.
and we would play those in an internet cafe, which is like a coffee shop with PCs basically,
Yep.
and you
Yep.
just rent the rig to play in the internet.
Yep.
And it was a lot of money back then. Well, for me anyway.
Yep.
And I discovered this thing, the MMO, multiplayer online RPG,
Mhm.
and my mind was blown. Like I opened this game, which was huge at the time in Greece, and people
Mhm.
still play it actually, called Lineage 2.
Mhm.
And that was like poor man's World of Warcraft. So
Mhm.
you open that and you greet it with a login screen.
Mhm.
And I was
Mhm.
like, how what is that? Like, why don't just play single player and I play? It's like, no, you play with other people. Like we all play together and around
Mhm.
the world. And that just this my mind exploded. So I got into that, and it turns out I was pretty bad at it. So maybe because I was like 14 and my English wasn't that great. So there's that. Uh, I beat Pokemon at like 8 and I didn't know a lick of English. So,
Same here.
but
People don't believe it. I tell people up until like 18, 19 years ago, I had absolutely no idea. I was like, "Good morning, how are you?" And people are like, "What is that?" So, anyway.
yeah, and turns out that game, because normally you paid monthly, it has a subscription. It was big back in the day.
Uh-huh.
You could actually run it with an emulator, what's called the game server emulator. So someone reverse engineered how the server works
Uh-huh.
in Java and with like MySQL, and you can
Yeah.
install this locally and play the
Yep.
game. It was pretty buggy, and they were just still working on it. But no one, you can't lose if you're the only player.
Yep.
Turns
Yep.
out I still lost, but the point is the spark was there because I was like, okay, how when I say like dot and the bad Greek word, how can I make like I was 14, give me a break. How do I
Yeah.
make something appear in like the text box?
Yeah.
And I figured it out all on my own, no books. I didn't even know how to Google. I don't even think Stack Overflow was a thing back in the day. Can you imagine? And I just, something printed and I'm like, and then all that curiosity took a dark turn. I used to use that skill to scam people of accounts in League of Legends. I made like a
Uh-huh.
phishing tool, and that phishing tool was written in VB.net. And that was
Uh-huh.
my first interaction with
That's your
VB.net.
first contact with .NET. Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
I didn't
Yep.
know like how compilation worked or anything. Like if
Yep.
someone just opened the thing, they would file the email and the password that the thing was emailing to.
Yep.
Uh,
Yep.
it didn't matter to me. That the spark was there.
Yep.
Fast forward a few years of like bits and bobs and not really focusing on many things. And time comes for, you call it college, we call it university. I was
Yep.
18 and I'm like, I want to be a cook. That's what I want.
Yep.
Mom's like, you're going to be unemployed. That's how it works. And I'm like, well, what are the options? And we find out that a friend of mine, actually a cousin of mine, was here in
Mm.
London already studying civil
Nice.
engineering.
Nice.
So she's like, well, why don't you do that? Because you basically have failed in everything you've tried until now. It can't get much
Yeah,
worse.
yeah.
Uh,
I
yeah,
I
it was
I I
a
know that
really,
feeling. I
really
believe me.
bad at
Yeah,
school.
yeah,
Really
yeah,
bad at school. I
yeah.
was not interested because I'm very good if something is
It's
of interest,
interesting. Yeah,
but if it's not, I could
you're not
not.
gonna waste your time. I'm exactly just like you.
No,
Yeah, nope. It's not coming in. It's just not
it's
coming.
yeah. It's
You know,
like
it's just
the usual criticism was like, "Oh, the kid is smart, but he's lazy." It's like,
yeah.
are you calling me dumb? But in a polite way. Anyway, turns
Uh-huh.
out I didn't do that. I came here to study software engineering in the UK, in London. Turns out didn't really do much well in uni as well. I barely like because the thing is, I had this attitude of I know everything. What do I need to learn in uni? I've been doing this since I was like 15. Uh, Very bad attitude to have, turns out. But yeah, I mean, I barely got the mark, which is like it makes you like hireable.
Hmm.
And after like years of you're just burning your family's money, I'm like, I'm
Yeah.
gonna get the first job. I had to go back to
That
do
I
the
get
army.
offered. I need to
I
pay off all of that.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm like I had to like go back for a year to do my army service, so that happened. Then I come back. I'm like the first job that someone says here,
Yeah.
I'm gonna take it. And I was looking
Yeah.
for Java roles, and someone because that was like my thing. I knew
Yeah.
Java,
Yeah.
self-taught, like knew was pretty bad. But anyway, and my second interview happened to be with someone who was working in a proprietary, like not WinForms. What's the
Was it
name? Web
WPF?
Forms. No, Web Forms.
Web Forms, ASP.NET, Web Forms.
And I thought that was my first exposure. That, by the
Yeah.
way, that's in 2015, early 2016. For me, that
Hmm.
was the pinnacle of engineering because I was coming from Java.
Uh-huh.
Every terribly verbose
Servlets.
decision that what was made in Java was better in C Sharp at the time.
Yep. Yep.
Like, what do you mean you don't have setters and getters? What do you mean I don't need like 10 lines of code for a field? So
Java's very chatty. Java
it is.
loves chattiness. You know, once in a while you should give Scala a whirl. Scala. It's gonna
Kotlin is
bend
my
your
thing.
Yeah, it's gonna bend your brain backward. That's the thing about Scala. But it still has some advanced components that doesn't exist in any. I was just talking to Mads about this. Said bring for comprehension to C sharp. Try to do that, and he was like, it's actually very interesting. Imagine iterating over multiple lists and handing over your item from one list to the next. It's insane. I'm sorry. Go ahead,
Yeah.
Nick. Go ahead.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, I've given Kotlin a go and I really, really like it actually. Like Kotlin is
Oh,
my
Kotlin. Yeah,
second,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah,
yeah, second or third favorite language.
yeah, yeah,
I'd say second. It's really fun. It's like Java done right, I'd say anyway.
yeah, yeah.
Um, but yeah, the first job I did horribly at that interview, so I can only imagine what that other person that we're interviewing did. But if Phil is watching that, thanks for giving me the job. You changed my life.
Thank you, Phil.
uh,
Nick is awesome.
and it was all snowballing from here. Stayed there for a couple of years. That's actually how I got exposed to .NET Core from the
Mm-hmm,
beta versions because
mm-hmm,
they were rebuilding their internal software that they had for vacancies, effectively like job listings.
mm-hmm,
And I was able to ship a product with .NET Core 1.0, then 1.1, and then move to a different company, way bigger company, one of the biggest actually e-commerce retailers in the UK called ASOS. And then from there, I ended up where I am now, called Checkout.com and doing payments.
mm-hmm,
And
mm-hmm.
I've said that in another podcast. Podcast. It's public, but I am
Uh-huh.
leaving now to do YouTube full time.
Nice, nice.
Yeah. So
I have a lot of appreciation of people that. So here's the thing. There's nothing wrong of kind of get yourself off the ground with whatever you can at a time. But a lot of people settle for that. They be like, okay, I guess that's my life. And then they do a job half-assed, like they go and be like, I never wanted to do this, but now here I am. What I really appreciate about you and people, that follow the same path, they'd be like, okay, this is just a stage in my life, but I don't want to do this for the rest of my life. I want to do something where I can teach people, I can grow with people, I can do something really passionate about. Like this guy on YouTube, what's his name? MKBHD
Yeah.
Marquez. This
Yeah.
guy this guy loves what he does. This is not about money for him anymore. He really puts energy and time into the recording and how he moves things around. And he went and bought this $100,000 robot arm so he can make better. He really cares about that experience to an extent. If you saw his first video, very first video, when it was little, really little, he was sitting on a couch
Yeah.
in the living room in his family's house, and he was just showing people some stuff. You gotta start somewhere,
Yeah.
right? I mean, is this your advice for people who are pursuing anything? Just start somewhere. It doesn't have to be 100% perfect. What do you think
Yeah.
about that? Mm.
People are like, because people reach out obviously now, and I reached out when I started. Like when I back in 2019, when I had 1,000 subscribers, I think I
Mhm.
reached out to Tim Corey when he
Mhm.
just hit 100,000, which I just hit now.
Uh-huh.
And we had a chat, not really much of an advice question, but it's like I was surprised that this guy with like 100,000 subscribers, he would reply to me.
Yep.
And I
Yep.
just tried to learn from the patterns, and I saw, the evolution, which is like
Yep.
he didn't have an expensive mic when he started,
Yep. Yep.
He didn't have like fancy backgrounds and a touch board that he can draw and things. He just had the knowledge, a
Yep.
way to explain the thing,
Yep.
and passion. And I think, people say talent or whatever, but I think perseverance is way more important than talent, and the will to actually improve. Because you might keep doing the same thing and it's not working, and you keep doing the same thing. If it's not working exactly as it is, then maybe you need to start changing things in the formula. And I think
Yep.
that I don't have a period of 2 to 3 months that I haven't changed something in the videos. It used to be mediocre audio and like very small font, just because I thought I can see the font. Why wouldn't I?
Yeah, if I can see the font, then who cares about these other people?
Exactly. Everyone has it in full screen on a like 27-inch 2K resolution video, right? Monitor, right? So, and then it's like, okay, let's increase it,
Yeah.
and then it's like, let's fix the audio, and let's fix the echo, and let's fix the whatever, and then let's put this face because that's what it's missing from the video, obviously. Uh, and then it's like, let's buy a green screen. So it's incremental updates
Mm,
that
mm,
eventually, what I like to say is, because if you see my graph of improvement over time, it
mhm.
is, the first year is nothing. Like I
You're
think I
just
got
same.
three
No.
3,000 subscribers, like
Uh-huh.
so little. Then
Uh-huh.
second year, I think I got like 15-20,000 subscribers, and
Uh-huh.
then third year skyrocketed.
Just went. You
It
went
is,
out there. You
yeah,
you
and
made you made it to 100,000 at
yeah,
that time.
like literally like less than a month ago,
Look at
and
look at this. This is passion. This is dedication. Like even though like this is your very first video, full course API,
yeah,
you didn't even say no, this is not up to yeah, I see what you're talking about, the text and all that
yeah,
kind of stuff.
it's
So,
it's tiny.
yep, yep. But I'll tell you this though. This is just for you. You're gonna love this a lot. Some really, really heavy people in the tech industry recommended your videos. People that are principal level, partner level software engineers inside Microsoft and outside of Microsoft. Think Google, Facebook. They always say, no, go look at Nick's channel. When I want to understand the topic, I go to Nick's channel. I wanted you to know that because sometimes it helps, when you are a content creator, to know that people actually going out there promoting your content. Like you could do whatever you want with your Google AdSense and add these ads and show up your video and at the top of the right side return. But if people actually like your stuff, and that's what Google is trying to do with YouTube, they're trying to promote the things that people actually like,
Yeah,
and I can see like your viewers are super organic. People really, I see the comments. People really love your content and they love to come and see what kind of topic. When I watch your videos, you're also very calculated. Like when you're speaking, you're not taking 3.5 hours. Some people do that. You're putting in 8 minutes, 20 minutes maximum, and you go out there and you hit exactly on that topic, right? No side stories, no don't wander into. Are you building your videos in a way that people could watch them multiple times, so people could come back to these videos and be like, oh, let me see what he did again? What do you think? Tell me.
I think I don't know if you will give me less or more credit than I should be getting, but the format of the video is very calculated. The time that I'm publishing is very calculated to the T.
Mm-hmm.
During the day, I mean,
Uh-huh.
I track every single other .NET creator. I have a spreadsheet that's being real time updated to see their growth and what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
I know exactly what the .NET team is doing, and I'm trying to make content relevant to that to just catch all the
You're,
SEO I
yep,
can.
yep,
So
yep.
from a planning perspective, I have 250 ideas in my Notion board, which I'm tracking everything.
Nice,
But I'm
nice,
reorganizing things as they become relevant or irrelevant.
nice, nice.
So there's that. But then there's two things that I think I'm focusing on heavily, and I've changed over time.
Mm-hmm.
The first thing is long form content for the demographic I'm going for, which is mid level to senior, like intermediate to advanced engineers. I'm not really touching the beginner market. Um, has jobs that pay well because we're software engineers.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to respect someone's time.
Yep.
And if I need to explain something, I'm assuming you know anything before the video starts. So I
Mm-hmm.
don't have to spend time explaining 30 minutes of how did we get here. I
Mm-hmm.
assume we know how we got here. And I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
tell you how we're going to go further. So that
Mm-hmm.
basically just removes 70% of the content I don't need to talk about. Plus,
Yep.
if I was adding it every time to every
Yep.
video, because I don't know that everyone will watch every video, it's not a
That's
series,
right. That's
then I
right.
don't have to re-explain it every time.
That's right.
So
That's right. Mm-hmm.
smaller videos published in specific times, which can, you know, for the UK it's lunchtime, but for the West Coast it's morning, and then for New York is a bit. Oh, sorry, for New York and East Coast is morning, and then the US, the West Coast will get it later.
Yep. Seattle,
So
Redmond, California, all of
yeah,
these places.
so
Yeah.
it's getting that initial because there's two things that YouTube wants, right? It's
Mm-hmm.
there's two metrics for those of you who
Mm-hmm.
don't know. It's click-through rate, so the
Mm-hmm.
percentage of people that see an impression of your video, so YouTube
Mm-hmm.
recommending it and people clicking it,
Mm-hmm.
and watch time. So how long someone is watching this video. So if people see my face now on this video in the thumbnail and they watch the full podcast, this
Mm-hmm.
video that you're watching right now will be recommended a lot.
That's right. That's right.
So it's two things. How do I get your attention with a catchy thumbnail? That's why I started making thumbnails that are a bit, I don't want to say clickbait or titles that are a bit more clickbait, but it's definitely more clickable. I like to call it
Uh-huh.
legit bait. YouTube is very smart to detect like
Yep.
legit clickbait and
Yep.
like destroy. No one will
Yep.
see it.
They won't let you get through with
If
it.
if a video does well, then even if the title sounds clickbaity, it delivers in its promise because someone clicked and watched the full video.
Yep. Yep.
So don't get mad at my titles. You're watching the video.
I look at your title, like you started with things like ASP.NET Core 5 and 3 2.2 REST API tutorial, and
Who
now
gives a
nobody gives a rat's butt about
like
that, you know.
if you saw that with that like thumbnail, which I probably have to update at some point, it's like who cares? Who is this person and why should I like? If I type in ASP.NET Core now on YouTube, I'm gonna see like a gazillion things.
Yep.
By
Yep.
the way, these are the updated thumbnails. I had different ones, which were worse.
You just
Like
you, you just
at
went
least,
back and updated all of them.
yeah, at least people click on those because I think I had left either the auto-generated one, so it was
Mhm.
like a frame, or I had a very small text that nobody could read in the thumbnail.
I'll tell you this much though. This year, even though, you started, the text was so small and stuff like that, you never know where the need is on the internet, right? This
Well,
year is almost a
I,
quarter of a million, you
I
know.
knew because there was nothing at the time
Yep,
about the
yep,
topic.
yep.
So that was
2019.
also calculated. What many people like to do is they make like a long, if all the series
Uh-huh,
for this course was in a
uh-huh,
single video, it would be
uh-huh.
7.5 hours.
Yep,
And what
yep.
and what happens with videos like this, and I know that, is that people click it. it's usually beginners that click those videos.
Yep.
They watch for an hour max, and
And
then
that's it. They drop.
that's it. They drop, and you can see that
Yep.
in the
In the
clicks of the other
analytics.
videos.
Yep.
Or even
Yep.
if you go at the very bottom of this of this page that you're on right now, and you
Hmm.
see like how many views the second and third and fourth and fifth video
Yep.
got,
Yep.
you can
It
see a
keeps.
steady decline
Yep. Yep.
until I talk about a hot topic, for example, JOT
Entity
token
framework
authentication,
or J.
or
Yeah.
or
Nice.
refresh tokens. So that kind of tells me that people are looking for like individual bits
Yeah.
rather than a full thing. Even if that thing is organized, you cannot SEO for every single thing in like 7.5 hours.
Yep. That's what James from Channel 9 here at Microsoft was telling me as well. He said people don't have patience for longer content anymore. Like, there is a fluctuation of some sort based on the topic. Like if you go and say introduction to Blazor or introduction to Entity Framework, that video is just going to go all the way up to the
Yeah.
roof, right?
Yeah.
But if you start saying introduction part 2, or you start saying, oh, the next, so you're saying it, the title, the name, the thumbnail, the content itself, you put a lot of that thought into making this an appealing content.
Yeah.
Does it always hit? Does it always match your expectation?
I think I know at this point when something doesn't perform. You can go at the very top, and I can tell you, for example, what surprised me
Uh,
positively or negatively.
uh,
I also do shorts, and what surprised me now is how well shorts are performing.
yep,
For example, the Bang Bang operator in C Sharp 11,
yep,
150,000 views in 3 weeks.
yep.
I had no clue. Uh,
People don't
like
want to sit down and listen to
the algorithm. I wanted
uh
to do this Twitter post, which I'm like, in my analytics, it starts with
Yep,
like 10,000 views and then it just skyrockets.
yep,
And I wanted to
yep,
say like, how I made this video perform so amazingly well on YouTube, like thread and point
yep,
down. I'm like, nothing.
yep.
The algorithm. I didn't
Nope.
do anything.
They're ch-
I did nothing.
I did nothing. The algorithm took care of all of it.
Literally.
I looked at most of these videos. I expected this one to go to the roof. Did you expect this one to go to the roof too?
So no, I expected this to be the one that underperforms from the bunch I had
Mm.
because
Mm.
it's not something. I think people who are vocal about something
Mhm.
sometimes are the minority,
Mhm.
and they
Mhm.
kind of like inflate that voice because they're the
Mhm.
only ones talking about it. So source generators, amazing feature. People complaining about performance of source generators,
Yep.
but it's actually not that much of a big deal. People who use them know that it's not much of a big deal.
Yep.
People who
Yep.
don't use them are the ones who, you
Yep.
know, and you have more people using them even implicitly than people who are not using it.
That's right. That's right.
So I kind of knew that this would be the case, but I'm like, this is something that someone will Google in the future. So this
That's
is
right.
what I call an evergreen video in my
Yep.
plan. I have
Your own.
evergreen videos, and I have the what's the name I gave them? Something like time whatever, or like the ones that get all the views in the beginning and then they just steadily get less views as they go. And an example of those is the third video. You see the GUIDs and UUIDs are cool, but
Yeah.
it's cooler. Like that title. That title is the pinnacle
Yep.
of clickbait. Not
Of
clickbait.
course,
Sorry,
you're
legit bait
appealing. You're literally appealing to Java engineers.
to
When you
everyone.
said UUID, so now the C sharp, like I saw this, of course I did click on it. The first thing when I looked at it, I was like, wait a second, you can use UUIDs in C sharp. And then it got even better as I'm watching the video because you start saying, hey, it doesn't have to be GUID at all. You can make
Yeah,
your own customized. I loved that. I
yeah.
loved that. And the text is clear, you can see it. Just as
It's
good.
big. It's not
It's
small.
big. You have a link in here so people can go and see it.
Yeah, try that link. It's a very interesting link. Have you tried this link?
So do I click? How do I click on it? Do I
You
just
cannot click. You have to type it. Someone has to care enough to type the text. There is no
Oh,
link because I'm
I need,
just talking about how YouTube is using the base64 URL friendly
uh-huh,
um, GUID, not GUID,
uh-huh.
11 character ID.
Yep, yep.
I'm not gonna spoil it. If anyone is watching that, they can go ahead and type it if they
You're gonna
want
have
to.
to you're gonna have to type it because if you don't type it, then I am known to be a fast typer. Maybe I can figure it out. Video isn't available anymore. Are you sure? Let's
No
see.
way.
Is this an L? This is an
That
L, right?
that is an I, I
An
think.
I. Okay, then
It
that's a
looks pretty
mistake.
fat, so it should be an I. Did you just
H.
type this
Yeah,
on
and
another
it's
screen? That's
yeah.
incredible.
Well, I try to create content as well. So as I'm going, yeah, it's your video's gone, son. That's over.
There's no way that video is gone. I
Okay,
can guarantee that. You
it
probably misspelled something.
HICS WU. Is it O or zero?
Ah, that's a good question.
Let me put zero there just to try it out. Zero. Nope.
Ah, I don't know what's going on there. That's supposed to be a link.
Do I
And it's
try L? Do I try L
do you
anyway?
try do you try L or do you try I?
So I did I. Do I try L now?
Yeah, try it.
Okay. Do you have this problem in Greek language?
Not
Like
so
two
much.
letters that look the same? I never have that in my own language either, so it's very interesting.
No, I'm very curious why this is not showing up. Basically, for those of you who figure it out, um,
Please comment.
have wait,
Go ahead.
go back to the link.
Yes.
It's a capital O.
Capital O. Okay.
Yeah.
You'd think it's a string, so it doesn't matter.
No, it does. It's case sensitive. And the second I is not an I, it's an L. Oh, it's the opposite from what you have.
Okay, so it's I in here, and then O uppercase.
Yep.
Okay, here we go. Nope.
No way.
Who?
No, because it's still redirected. Look, it's still not the right one.
So let me I'll do something. Maybe I can search it on Google. You know what I mean? Like if I go to Google like this, let's debug this. Is that what it is? Then why
I'm
it's
telling you, it's there. I think there's something with the link you have.
okay, so this is the link. Oh, it's an uppercase O.
I told you.
Why
But
are you
someone has
doing
to type it. That's why it's hilarious. Because people
you,
in the
you have
comments
you
are
have to
like,
go the extra mile.
I knew what I was going for, and it still happened, and I'm proud.
Anyway, Rick Astley, we got Rick rolled.
2022. That's what you get.
I don't know. I heard something about that singer the other day. He was shooting this whole thing under a bridge. It was hilarious. Like the whole video, it was like 1990s or something like that, and people really didn't have a lot of budget for these videos. So all they could do is just play camera, like zoom in and zoom out, and
Yeah.
just go around people. And now I don't know what I'm looking at anymore. Maybe I'm that old. Anyway, let's get back to you for a quick question. What is the thing that's on your mind right now? Now you're kind of planning to do this full time.
Yeah.
What's the biggest thing on your mind? What's your biggest ambitions? What's your biggest fears? What are you looking forward to these days?
I think everyone should have like one short-term goal that is reachable within reason, and one long-term goal that might not be reachable, but
Hmm.
like should be aspired to be something. So I think my long-term goal, and that was from the beginning, and I never thought I would. Obviously, the channel would take off. Not in my craziest dreams,
Yeah.
but I was looking, at people like um, Scott Hanselman or like David Fowler or
Hmm.
Damien Edwards or Mariana Gaga or all these like very influential people in .NET.
Hmm.
And I'm like, I want to be the most influential person in the .NET community. That is my
Hmm.
goal.
Hmm.
Um, and I'm doing that through education. Now that I'll have more time. I'll be doing it through conferences, and I will do it through workshops too.
Yeah.
And whatever comes next, I have a few plans. Don't want to spoil anything, but
Okay.
that is a long-term plan. The short-term plan for now is make sure that this thing is
Continues.
it
Yeah.
continues and is affordable. Not affordable. It is what I can pay my mortgage. You know what I mean?
Yep. Yep. It's
uh,
it's uh it's uh it scales. You
yeah.
want to make sure it scales and it's sustainable.
Yeah,
That's
it's
it.
the reason why many people ask me, are you gonna come over and do like consulting at my company? I'm like, that does not scale because it requires like the full amount of my
The
attention.
best time of your day. Yeah, 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 yeah.
And I just like, if I was to like work for someone else, I would work for Checkout, my company. They're an
Yep,
amazing employer.
yep, yep,
Like, I'm I'm taking a risk and I'm trying to like own my time and see how's that gonna work out.
yep,
And I think it's gonna work out great. I mean, it already does because I did the math,
yep,
but you never know. What if YouTube disappears tomorrow? Am
yep,
I no one? Well, what is Twitter? So
yep.
there's a lot happening, and I'm
Hmm.
trying to like. It's weird that my long term goal is more clear than my short term goal, which it's very simple. I know where I'm going,
Yep,
but the next 3 to 4 months will be very very interesting, and I'm so happy that conferences like are again back in person
yeah.
because I can't wait to meet some people and
Engage,
give some
engage
talks.
with people. Yeah.
I'm missing it so much.
Yep. I always tell people don't be an avatar. Don't be an avatar on the screen. Go out there and actually meet people in person and say hi, and mentor people, engage with people like
Yeah,
authentically. And I think you carry a lot of that in your content.
yeah,
Tell me what was your current job or your current job,
yeah.
your full-time job. What do you do? You like are you a consultant? Do you build
No,
software?
no.
Go ahead.
So
Go ahead.
so currently I'm still technically working as a senior engineering manager at a company
Nice.
called Checkout.com, which I joined back in 2019. I
Nice.
joined the company 3 months into making videos.
Nice. Nice.
So right after the MVP summit of 2019, I was already an MVP at the time for
Mhm.
Cosmos DB. I was more of
Yep.
a data person at the time,
Yep. Yep.
but still like software engineering. And within my company, which when I joined was basically a private company, which was worth nothing, no Series A, no funding, no nothing.
Hmm.
Fast forward 3 years, now we're worth 40 billion US dollars, and we're
Nice.
the fourth highest valued like private company in the world.
Nice. Nice.
Um, by the way, if you're looking for a job, it's a good company. Sorry for the
That's
plug. I'm just
that
hijacking
no,
it.
no, that's good. That's okay. Eagle, I was telling Eagle the same thing the other day. There's a lot of people in England, right? I'm assuming this company is in England.
It has a
Please,
lot of offices all around the world. Like, just check
th-
the website.
there's no limitation in this podcast whatsoever. If you want to advertise for, a lemon stand that you sell, by all means, go ahead and tell people whatever you want.
Yeah, I just gonna like it's funny. Usually, you leave an employer because you have something against that employer. They will don't pay you well, or the
Yep.
environment is bad, or whatever. I have nothing against Checkout or
Yep.
my managers or whatever.
Yep.
So I'm just happy to say that even if I'm going, like, they're great.
Yep.
Uh,
They say don't burn bridges. Like let's say, God forbid, let's just say the worst have happened and maybe this didn't work out for you. Don't burn bridges because it makes it a lot easier to come back, right?
yeah,
And
yeah.
and I think if here's the thing, just talking to you for like almost a couple of maybe 20 minutes now, half an hour, I feel like you are someone people would want to have back. Like even if you make the decision and say, "Hey, I'm out of here," at some point in time you might come back say, "Hey, I tried this. By the way, I just want to tell you this. This is very interesting and very courageous. It's just you're jumping off that cliff and you're saying, "Hey, let's see what happens." A lot of people continue to be in a place where they don't feel like this is where they need to be to grow.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this question. Does creating content does it escalate with you in terms of growth? Do you continue to grow? Do you feel like it can actually fulfill your forever need to grow as a person and as a content creator? Is this the most attractive thing about this?
So very good question. So like I said on the company, like halfway through, I turned into an engineering lead, and that
Mhm.
role turned into an engineering manager, which was more
Yep.
of a person hiring sort of situation.
Yep.
So I end
People
up,
manager. Yep.
yeah, I end up not really coding that much or
Yep.
at all at this point.
Yep.
And like my way back into coding, even though I could go back to IC, but I managed some amazing people. I had some amazing
Yep.
managers. I didn't want
Yep.
to,
Yep.
no, I don't want to give up on anyone, and
Yep.
I like the job. It's just that I like coding more,
Yep. Yep.
um, at least in .NET.
Yep.
And what happened was, well, I can go home and I can try things out.
Yep.
And this YouTube thing, I didn't just wake up a day and said, I'm gonna make YouTube videos. The way this
It just
happened
it just
was
happens. Yeah.
I am learning by doing personally.
Yep. Yep.
So when in the previous company, ASOS, which I was working for, we were one of the biggest, or maybe the biggest at the time, like Azure customers, at least in the UK.
Hmm.
And I was learning a lot of stuff like ARM templates, Cosmos DB, whatever. And
Hmm.
to learn them, I was writing them in my blog, which is down now. I don't
Hmm.
know why, but I was just writing them down. But then because I'm better at like talking than writing, because at writing I have to like read and read and read and then
Yep.
make mistakes and have someone proofread it. This was
Yep.
just taking a long time and I was just so bored.
Yep.
So I'm
Yep.
like, I'm gonna just record. And this is easier. Like because the if you think about it, my editing flow and my the time invested is
Mhm.
prep work for the video,
Yep.
then recording the video, and then
And then edit the video.
editing is the length of the video plus 20 to 50% of the video's length.
Yep.
So it's all deterministic. I know how long it will take. No surprises there.
Yep.
And I like when something is deterministic and I cannot really go over time budget,
Right.
especially in a life that is, pretty full. I
Yep.
have friends. Go to work every day. I have a partner, which, you
You
know,
can't you
if,
can't you
y-
can't just waste a minute.
yeah,
Uh-huh.
it's, yeah.
Hey, how long does it take you to deliver a video, by the way?
I'm working on my YouTube stuff. So
Mhm.
YouTube course stuff and do I do anything else? I don't really do anything else. And preparation, obviously, for the video.
Yeah, so
Um,
preparation, shooting the video, and then the editing, and then the
yeah,
publishing. I'm assuming your publishing stage also requires a little bit of calculation. How long does that all take you for one video?
it's around currently 10 to 16 hours a week. So it's around 5 hours per video on average.
Wow.
Plus
Nice.
the some of the course content or like some of the talk content which I'm preparing too. So like this is taking me around 16 hours a week on average, on top of the
Nice.
40 hours I'm working.
Nice.
So I really
Nice.
have like no days off.
Always working, always passionate. Well, if you're doing
But
what you love, really, are you really
ex-
working? You know what I
yeah,
mean?
exactly. And like to answer your original question, and people who knew I'm leaving, they were asking, "But how are you gonna keep up with all these things?" Like the truth is, I don't learn those things at work. I learn them after work
After work,
when I
yeah.
go and I read, and I'm like, okay, let's put this to the test. Let's try something. Uh, let's
That's
see.
gonna supercharge your knowledge because you
Y-
have the time.
Yeah, because the thing is, you're learning something. Or at least in my opinion, right? When
Mhm.
you're explaining something to someone, that's when you have learned it. And when I'm putting myself out there and like 300,000 unique viewers each month, there's a
Nice.
lot of critics, and
Yeah.
some of them are invalid, and
Yeah.
some of them are valid.
Some
And
people
I'm
are
gonna
gonna get under your skin. They're gonna leave
and
you a comment and
yeah, and I'm
what do
gonna
you
make
what
mis-
do you do, Nick? How do you deal with that? Like someone just pops up and says, hey, this is absolute BS. I'll tell you something for you. When I first started in the tech industry, someone popped up and told me, hey, you should probably do something else other than technology. This is not for you, right? I remember when I first started as a junior engineer, I had a guy who was very smart and very seasoned, but he was cold. Inside here, it's Alaska for him. And he would come and say, you don't know anything in the world. Why are you still here? Right? And I always tell people, like, if I listen to these folks, I wouldn't be building some complex enterprise system, some of the biggest companies, software companies in history, right? So don't listen to these voices. Sometimes
yeah.
people just want to. How do you? What do you tell yourself when something is
th-
blatantly negative and obviously false from your
There's
perspective?
there's
Uh-huh,
three ways to I deal with it. Okay,
uh-huh,
because I think there's three types of like negative comments.
uh-huh.
There's people who are just rude, and
Yep,
there's this feature called hide from channel, which deletes their comments, blocks them, and retroactively removes all their comments,
yep,
but they don't know about it. They
yep,
still see everything, so it's a shadow ban.
yep, yep.
So I use that a lot because if you're
Brutal.
rude and you start rude, there's no way I'm gonna bring you back. I'm
Yep,
all about like constructive criticism and
yep,
like a good discussion.
yep,
Some people come in with an like specific attitude, and that's
yep,
like it's usually people that heavily suffer from Dunning Kruger.
yep.
They heard something, they read about something, they saw some other person talk about something like this is the only way. Like when I first saw clean architecture, oh my God, did I apply it everywhere? And I'm like, this is the best thing since sliced bread. There's nothing better.
This is it. That's a solution.
That's how you make systems now forever.
When you're
What do
holding a
you
hammer, everything
what do
is a
you
nail, right?
what do you mean I don't need 35 layers in my API? You're wrong. So everything was like that. So I know where these people are coming from.
Uh-huh.
And with these people, I'm trying to be like, okay, I'm gonna try to bring you back. Not that I know everything, but because I've done one too many mistakes answering questions with the answer that I think is right, not the answer that is right because I never validated it. You
Mhm.
know, oh, this is gonna allocate on the heap,
Mhm.
for example. Like I was like very confident, like no, it's
Mhm.
actually gonna be on the stack. So I made a mistake, and I'm like, anyway. So I'm gonna try to bring you back. That's my point.
Yep.
And if you just, even if I give you proof, if you just ignore it, I'm gonna stop replying to you. And if your comment is like adamant, like you're just believing what you're saying,
Yep.
I'm gonna block you again
Yep.
because you're
Yep.
misleading people reading the comments, and I don't
That's
want
right.
that in my comment section. And
Yep.
then you have people who are like that, or they ask a question or in them in a negative way, and I answer, and sometimes I am wrong, and I admit it when I'm wrong, and I
Yep.
do edits on the video and the description or whatever, and I'm like, thank you, and I pin the comment.
Yep.
Or if they're wrong, we have a discussion in the comments. People can read the answers and they learn from the discussion. So
Yep.
those are the three types of interactions.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
I don't
Yep.
think at this point, with like 100,000 subscribers and 300 million, not million, I
Yep.
wish, thousand people each month watching the videos and commenting, that I would listen to like one or two voices that
Yeah,
are
that's right.
negative. It's
Yep.
because there's this meme or like this photo which is like 1,000 comments that are positive and two that are negative, and you focus on the two negative and you ignore the positive.
Yep.
Like
Yep.
the YouTube platform has removed the dislike button. All of my videos,
I don't
no
know
matter
why
how
they
many,
I don't know why they did that. What do you think
uh,
about that? Do you think that's a good idea?
I don't think that's a good idea. I'll tell you why. But before
Mm,
I explain why, is
mm,
I don't think I have a single video that's below 97 to
mhm,
98%
mhm.
like dislike ratio. Even with like the ones that people are like, oh, this is bad or whatever.
Just for the people watching, Nick, just to explain this, Nick, so what Nick's talking about is that when you're a YouTube content creator, you can basically go and see even if the dislike is not showing, it still shows to you, as a creator, and it tells you, see in here, there's 100%. You see, I'm trying to find
Yeah.
one that is not. So you'll find here the amount of likes and dislike. Here it is. This one is 97%. What are people mad about? Oh, upgrading ASP.NET API to .NET 7. People are mad about that. Okay, well that's great. But this is like for content creator, just for people watching us, you can tell, when someone hits that dislike button, even if it's not showing on the video itself. So tell me, what do
Here's
you
the
think about that? Go
here's
ahead. Go
the
ahead.
interesting thing about this. Before I tell you,
Go ahead.
okay, first let me tell you what I think about the change. So it's a bad change in my opinion for a
Yep.
couple of reasons.
Yep.
First, people are less incentivized to like or dislike the video. And when you dislike a video, you actually engage with it, which helps the algorithm promote it further. So when
Yep.
you dislike videos, you're helping us.
Yep.
And if you don't see the dislike number, you feel like you don't like are part of that hate mob or whatever, which
Yep.
ultimately helps us. So
Yep.
you're less likely to interact with a video. However, what's happening now, from what I observe, is instead of disliking, like instead of disliking, people are commenting on the video. And
Yep.
comment is an even stronger engagement for the algorithm because not only you have time to click about something, you have
Yep.
time to type about something.
Yep.
But when you
Yep.
leave like hate comments or whatever, the algorithm is like, people
We'll
have
catch
feelings
it.
for this.
Yep.
I'm
Yep.
gonna catch more feelings about this. So let me just push it to everyone. Uh, so ultimately, it helps with engagement. But the problem I have found is I always used it as a gauge for bad quality tutorials on YouTube. So
Mhm.
you open a beginner's tutorial for .NET or whatever. If you see that the video is like 50% disliked, I'm like, I'm not touching that. This is
Mhm.
bad.
Mhm.
Now I don't know
Mhm.
that. I only get the first part, and in my mind, I'm doing like mental math, and I'm like, oh, that's like 33,000 views. I'm just looking at my screen. That's like 2,000 likes. Yeah, that's about a right ratio for likes.
Kind
That
of right amount.
yeah, but if
Yeah.
it was like 900, I would assume either this is uninteresting or it has equally as many dislikes. But
Do,
I know that as a creator.
yeah, yeah. Do you ever run in these surprise videos with, like, sometimes, I would publish something and I don't expect that kind of reaction from people, and then it completely throws away all your expectations in terms of views, interactions, comments. Where does that come from? Do you ever run into that situation?
Yeah,
All the
I
time,
do.
bro.
It's well, okay. So the shorts thing is a whole new like situation. So I don't really want to talk about that too much because I don't um, know enough about it at this point. I'm still, collecting metrics. I have like graphs and understanding
Trying to
why
understand what,
why
yeah.
this is happening.
Mhm,
But I think I'm getting a significantly better view ratio than I expected on videos talking about performance.
mhm,
Performance,
mhm.
spans, memory allocations, all that is usually not something that many people
It's not for
care about.
junior and not even mid-level. This is
Yeah,
like a
exactly.
very advanced. Mhm, mhm,
So
mhm,
so I'm surprised when these videos do well. However, I think I found a formula for the titles and making the videos that kind of helps sell the point because it isn't really about the feature itself. It's not about the .NET 7 migration of the API. Technically, I mean, it's not about using enums, Java-like enums in C Sharp. Like
mhm.
if I had a video titled using
Mhm.
Java-like enums in C Sharp, no one would click it. Or
Yep.
maybe like people who'd want to hate it would click
Yep.
it. But then when I title a video, how to write smarter enums in C Sharp,
Mhm.
then it's
Mhm.
like, what does smart mean? Because smart, like, is a very general. Is it an adjective? I don't
It's
know my English. Is it an
it's
adjective or an adverb?
I think it's
Anyway,
now. Yeah, maybe. Yep. Mhm.
whatever.
Mhm.
Noun? I don't know. I'm Greek. But my point is, it's such a general thing. So you have many feelings. Like so I would think, wait, I don't know what he's talking about, but am I smart? Do I use the same thing, or am I dumb because I don't use it?
Mm.
I'm gonna click the video
Mm.
and see. Or it's like,
Mhm.
what do they have to say? Ooh, yeah. And the video might not be everyone's cup of tea, but you can't deny that if I want to get your attention to watch that video, there's
I
no
have
way
to
to
put.
title.
Yeah.
There's just no like. And lately, or like string interpolated handlers in C Sharp 10, amazing feature. I absolutely love it. If I titled a video
In string
how
interpolation,
how
nobody.
how
Yeah.
to use string interpolated handlers in C Sharp,
Nobody's gonna
you
click that.
have to
Yeah.
know
Yeah.
what the feature is, and not
Yep.
everyone reads every single feature added in the language. But
Yep.
when I say how C Sharp 10 fixed string interpolation, then you're gonna be like, what was broken and they fixed? I want to know. So, like, and you have to think that way. And I'm not saying, by the way, that if you start a channel now and you start titling your videos that way, it will work because people know my face and people know my type of content. So
Yep.
like kind
You
of put
kind of build
faith
your
in
own.
me.
Mhm.
Yeah, my own type of brand.
Mhm.
Um, but like all the emotional titles are like, you're doing .NET login wrong. Let's fix it. 90,000 views.
Yeah, I saw the Serolog and
Yeah,
the.
which is like, obviously I'm not doing logging wrong. A-
You're
and it's
doing logging wrong.
yeah,
Let's
you're
see
doing
what this
logging
guy is
wrong.
saying, and let me tell him. Let me go in that. Let me go on that video and tell him how to do it right.
And some people see it and read it and they're like, you know what, he's right. Because as long as the title basically, what's the right word? As long as I'm not fooling you, like it's very likely on what I'm showing in the video that you're not doing it because I've seen code bases on GitHub. This is
Mhm.
backed by data. That
Mhm.
statistically, the biggest percentage of people watching this video will fall into that category.
That's right.
And even if they know that their performance is affected negatively for not using it, I'm mentioning that maybe you don't care because maybe you don't want to prematurely optimize. So you're
Yeah,
only doing it wrong if you're aiming to write a highly performant app and you're not doing this.
that's
But
right.
how do you know what to optimize? Because people say this is premature optimization. You should never like write code like this. I'm like, okay, if I tell you optimize your code base, how will you do it? People will like, yeah, we're just gonna profile the application and it's gonna magically like fix itself. No, you have to know how to optimize an application to eventually optimize it.
Yep. Yep.
So there's a reason why these videos exist. And
What's
yeah,
go ahead. Go. What's the most difficult topic you had to learn and you kind of had to fight with it a little bit before you actually bring it out on the screen?
good question. Um, I think,
Mm.
ooh, I have to look at my videos because I usually talk about things that are interesting to me.
Yep. Yep. I notice when
And
this is your secret sauce. You won't talk about
yeah,
something just because it's popular. It's gonna have to be interesting to you as
yeah,
well. Mm-hmm.
because
Mm-hmm.
if I'm not like really interested in that feature, it just won't fly. Which is why I don't like. I reject 90% of all the sponsorships that come across my way because
Yep. Yep. They're
not
trying to make you
everything.
talk about something. I
Yeah,
I got a couple of those in the past. They said, "Hey, just talk about our problem." I'm like, "Nope, I'm not gonna be your mouthpiece. I'm not just gonna
yeah.
go out there and talk about something I don't like." And I think I really love that you do the same thing. I love that your mindset is, "I'll take your sponsorship while talking about what I like, not what you like."
Well, the question
Mhm.
I'm asking is, I have an audience, right? And that relationship is built on trust. They trust
Yep.
me to deliver on code that's performant, clean, the
Yep.
content is good, up to date, relevant, whatever. If I start taking like sponsorships for Raid Shadow Legends, which I had requests for,
Mhm. Mhm.
uh, and I give you like a 60-second ad in the beginning, you will
Mhm.
like get the hell out of here.
Yeah, we're done with you, man.
What
You
is that?
you turned into a car salesman.
Yeah, and
Just
and if I and if
yeah.
I like advertise like I don't know a cloud platform I'd never use, like I don't know, I don't want to drop any names, but
Yep.
people reach out. Like AWS is a sponsor of the channel, um, and I'm glad because I'm been on AWS for the past 3 years. I know my
Yep.
stuff on AWS.
Yep.
I can recommend it.
Isn't it
Or
crazy their Visual Studio native integration? You can literally just provision and monitor your AWS,
yeah,
components from Visual. How crazy is that?
they're
Anyway, sorry, go ahead.
heavily investing. I mean, I'm not using Visual Studio, so there's
Mm.
that. But I
I
know
know
I
I know you're
I I
using Writer.
I keep up to date. Like Rider has that too. No, I keep up to date with Visual Studio. I actually been playing around with it with the 2020 version. Uh, let's not open that Pandora's box. Maybe a
You
discussion
should
for another time.
Yeah, you should try it to enable some guy, that I'm mentoring just told me, hey, they brought Copilot to Visual Studio Enterprise 2022, and that thing is scary, Nick. Like I'm telling you, man, I've been doing this for 21 years now, and I'm looking at some things. If you have a particular standard or particular pattern of writing your code, oh, it'll figure you out just like that. It'll
I
break you down like two by four. You know what I mean?
I
So it's
I use it in Rider, and it's scary. It's I
this
used to use it
thing.
in the videos, but it was suggesting like so accurate code that was spoiling what I wanted to explain. So I
Mhm.
had to disable it. So I'm not using it in the videos anymore because it's
It
like
it
today
it
I'm gonna talk about something. I'm like, it
Here it
suggests in the
is.
code. Is it just listening to my microphone? What's happening? How
That
how is that?
this thing, it's when I first saw it, I thought to myself, "Oh, this is just a glorified copy pasta machine. It just goes to
Nope.
GitHub." But
Nope.
it's starting to get through, like GitHub element is still there, but there is some filtering and understanding, like in neural networks, like machine learning and stuff. They build graph components and try to kind of map all of these things, but having code go through that, this is pure insanity. And I think that, just like I tell people a lot of time, engineers are going to automate themselves out of their own jobs until we hit singularity. And then when that happens, we're going to turn into vigilantes fighting the machines, trying to turn them off. Something interesting I also read about Albert Einstein. I haven't verified it, but I saw it the other day. It says World War IV will be fought with sticks and stones. So
Yeah.
that just
Yeah.
tells me that software engineers are literally, we're just going to automate ourselves, and then we're going to destroy that very technology that we built, and then we're just going to end up riding donkeys and just traveling over mountains. I don't know if you guys have donkeys in Greece. Yeah, have you ever seen donkeys in Greece?
Oh,
you know
plenty of donkeys.
it, it's all over the Middle East as well. So here's one more thing for you. What's what's an advice you want to give to your future self? Sorry, to your past self, Nick. What's something that you want that's really, really important to you to understand, especially when you are younger, people that are entering this industry for the first time. Also, something for your viewers, people who follow your content. What's something really important you want to communicate to them today? Go ahead.
I, I'm gonna give you advice that was given very early in my career.
Hmm.
Uh, so I'm not really gonna come up with something myself because I'm not that smart. But other people
I think you're a
in my
genius,
life
but keep
in
going.
my life have been,
Uh,
and that is your ego will hurt you way more than your amateur coding skills.
nice,
And I
nice.
stand by that. I believe that the moment you wanna learn, you will learn. And I think, especially again, it's Dunning Kruger is so damn accurate.
Hmm.
You have this peak of Mount Stupid or whatever, and some people just stay there. And the moment
Yep,
you fall off that cliff, that's when the growth begins.
nice, nice.
And like, trust me, the moment you think I know nothing, the moment you surround yourself with people smarter than you, it's gonna be a revelation. You don't want to be the smartest person in the room. When you are the smartest person in the
You're not
room,
learning anything. Yep,
just go find another
yep,
company.
yep,
Go, because you're just not gonna grow. Like,
yep,
I wish I was a fly at David Fowler's like office,
yep, yep,
or Damon Edwards, or like
yep,
any of those extremely smart people, so I can
yep,
grow and learn from them.
yep,
Um,
yep.
so yeah, that's the only advice I would give to myself and anyone who's watching this. And that doesn't really apply only to starters, because ego is something that,
You just, especially in the engineering industry, e-
yeah,
ego is one of the things that I believe the engineering industry needs to get rid of as toxicity because it makes people not want to join the tech industry, which while some people think that's let me just explain, my vision and maybe you'll tell me what you think about that. If you continue to scare people away, and this is just for the senior engineers out there, if you continue to scare people away from your profession, businesses are going to invest that time and effort heavily into kind of making software even more autonomous and more simpler than it is today because they can't find workforce to actually make this happen. So we want to be more inviting. We want to allow people to come in, as much as possible and learn the industry. Like here in the US alone, there's over 4.5 million vacant, software engineer position open. 4.5 million. Can you believe this? There
that's
isn't enough.
insane.
There isn't enough people. Like you'll see a lot of software engineers, they're wearing multiple hats, right? Sometimes you have to play PM, sometimes you have to play a tester, sometimes you have to write the code, and you then jump all the way back to gather requirements. And there's a reason for that. Like technology is exponentially growing higher, and when a new thing like Web3, blockchain, stuff like that, all the big companies, it's not a secret. Microsoft have just hired a director, in blockchain and Web3, technologies. Google is doing the same. All of these companies, the whole point here, whether it's a fad or not, as a tech company, you want to stay ahead of the curve. You want to be there. What
Yeah,
is it? Mixed reality, metaverse? What's the new thing that people are really interested in? Because technology has proven itself once and again. Some kid in a garage could implement a new thing and they could topple an entire enterprise with all their products just
yeah,
like that. What do you
yeah,
think about that, Nick? Do you agree with that? Is that real? What do you think?
yeah. I mean, look at TikTok. Came out of
Yep.
nowhere. Is the most used application.
Just toppled. It
It,
toppled
it
Facebook, Netflix. Just
yeah,
all of this was gone. All of
and
it.
it's I was one of those people who got into it like in the pandemic. I'm like, well, everyone is using it, so I might as well like give it a go. It's like
Uh-huh.
the AI behind the algorithm of TikTok is nuts.
Yep.
I'm
It's
getting so accurate content,
refined content just for you.
like how it literally calculates how long I'm looking at something, how long it takes for me to scroll away, and
Yep.
Shorts is doing the same. So
Yep.
the reason why these Shorts video are taking off, what I was telling you before, is
Yep.
because their algorithm is baking how long you're watching programming content for.
Yep.
Oh, okay, let me recommend another one automatically, organically. Did you like this video? Did you go to the comments? You leave a comment.
Yep.
It's
That's your level of engagement, how much you're
yeah,
really interested. Would you go the extra mile? I bet, and this is one of the things we're trying to kind of understand from a legal standpoint. Like, it's collecting data about you. It's
Yeah.
building a prediction model to
Yeah.
see what you would like and what you wouldn't like, when you're building system. So if you view a video, let's say that's maybe interest level 0, maybe you hit a like or dislike that's level 1, and then you leave a comment that's level 2, and then you come back to the video to add more comments. Now that guy is addicted. That guy really
Yeah.
likes that that's add neural networks and machine learning, understanding human language on top of it. Go through, like Facebook right now, if it can't load the a picture for you, you will see in the background it's loading the description of that picture that you uploaded before.
Yeah.
So they're running that through their cognitive services analysis, and they're
Yeah.
trying to understand what you're posting out there.
These apps are not free. You're paying with your the currency is your attention, basically.
Yep, your eyes, basically.
Yeah.
Nick, it's been such a pleasure, meeting with you today, brother. You are such a very kind person, very, very passionate. You really love what you do. You like to put content out there, and it seems like you're not afraid of growing. You're not afraid. This thing that you just said, your ego is gonna hurt you more than your immaturity in software engineering. This is this is very, very true. I couldn't agree more with something like that. And it seems like you yourself are trying to kind of open yourself up. Like you just said, you reach out to Tim Corey, you're reaching out to people. I wish I can be a fly on the wall to learn from people that develop these, technologies and go out there and make the world a better place. I really appreciate you for that. Thank you for your time. And, please continue to be you, continue to, educate the world. Your videos reach every corner of the earth. You help a lot of people. I've seen people from disciplines and have been in the tech industry for 25 years. Some of them were 33 years, and they're looking at your content and they're saying, I can learn something from that guy. This guy has something interesting to offer. So, without any further ado, for people watching us, of course, if you have any comments, questions, concerns, or compliments for this gentleman here, gentleman right here, please feel free. Usually I sit on that other side. That's why. How do you say don't forget to like and subscribe in Greek, by the way?
I don't. I've never actually thought about it.
Every time I ask someone this question, they go like, I wasn't ready for that one.
I don't even know. I don't even know how subscribe
in
translates
in
to
Greek.
Greek. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, some of our languages is very tied up to certain things that are culturally common, and like and
Yeah.
subscribe, that seems like a very Western technology kind of
Yeah.
thing. So anyway, I really appreciate you, brother. People, don't forget to like and subscribe. Go check this brother's videos. It's very, very. I personally look at these videos. Check out his latest source generator video, but also the logging video that you created. That was very, very interesting. And now you're talking about without, writing C# without allocating any memory. Okay, now you're digging deeper. Fine, we'll see. Thank you so much, Nick. You have a
Thanks
wonderful
for
day,
having
brother.
me.
I appreciate you. Take care.
You
Take care,
too.
brother.